Hello and welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all of you are doing incredible. Hope you are taking care of yourselves and appreciating yourselves and really allowing yourself to be exactly as you are. Because so often we feel as though we have to be someone else. We're always thinking about how can we improve ourselves? How can we change the past? How can we do something to be the best version of ourselves? And although we can start moving towards choosing better things for ourselves, all the while we must always recognize that our happiness is what we're trying to seek. All these expectations, all these things that we're trying to move towards, bettering ourselves, changing the past, all these things are the belief that in doing so, it will bring us happiness. But we don't know what the next moment will bring, and the past is already gone. Allowing ourselves to focus our attention there is keeping us from our happiness. It's literally keeping us from the happiness right now in our current experience. So as we move through this life, it's so important to really remind ourselves, where am I? And this is something I do. I wanted this episode to be something just that shares one of the things that I do every single day. And this is really asking myself, where am I? And this isn't necessarily my physical location, the location of the body. It's the location of my awareness, my beingness, my like, where am I? There are many times that your body may be in one location, but your mind is elsewhere. And in your mind being elsewhere, you are elsewhere. You can go to a store and pick up items and all this other stuff, but you can be thinking so heavily about some situation that arose. And even though the body was in these different locations, the mind, your awareness, you were someplace else. And maybe you even forget where the body was because you were so wrapped up in this other dimension, in this other space. And dimension seems like this kind of weird thing to use, but dimensionality is the very essence of this life. It's this is a third dimensional reality. The physical world is a third dimensional reality. We dwell in this supposedly, but our consciousness, that's not physicality at all. That is a completely other dimension. It's another dimension. It's outside of time, just as we spoke about in memories and dreams. Like, there are situations in which time is irrelevant when it comes to the dwellings within ourselves. We can think about something and it feels like it just happened yesterday. It feels like it just happened a moment ago. There are experiences that we live in, experiences of sadness, of despair, that have happened years ago that we still feel to this day, and it feels like it just happened. Okay, there is a dimension outside of time and space. It truly is. So when you find yourself, the body, moving in these different locations and the mind somewhere else, you're not really being present. You can't be present. You're not present in anything that you're doing. So it's so important to remind yourself, where am I? And it could be, again, oh, I'm at the store right now. But really asking yourself, where am I mentally? Am I in the future? Am I thinking about, oh, how is this going to work out? How am I going to get through this? How am I going to pay that bill? How am I going to do this thing? Or is it in the past? How could I have let that happen? I can't believe this happened. Oh, how did that even happen? How did that transpire if things would have happened differently? All these things, it's like we have to bring ourselves back to this present moment. Where am I? Because in bringing yourself back to that moment, realizing, oh, I'm thinking about that situation again, we can realize that frequently recently, I've been thinking about that situation a lot more. We can start understanding things about ourselves, but we can truly ask ourselves, the biggest question is, I'm thinking about that a lot more. It must be something that is weighing a lot on my mind. Do I want it to continue to have the weight it has? Do I want it to continue to grasp my focus in the way that it does? It's not to say to try to dismiss it or to ignore it, because it's just going to pop right back up again. Listen to what it's saying to you. Is it saying that I'm worried about this thing that's going to happen down the line? Am I worried about something that I feel as though I don't have control over? Does it feel like something I don't have control over? And that's what's bringing up anxiety over me. Oh, I realize that there's this aspect of control that I've been having in my life, and I'm ready to let that go. I'm starting to realize that this pervades my life in so many different ways that I'm trying to control the situation. I'm trying to control the outcome. I think it's time. It doesn't feel good. I think it's time. I just wanna let that go. I don't want to feel like I'm trying to control everything. Maybe it's worry about losing someone in your life. And that's something that you're always thinking about. It's like, oh, what if they leave me? What if they find out that I'm not good enough, or they think that, there's someone else that's better than me? That's always pervading my mind. This thought seems to add this feeling of unworthiness within me, of loneliness, of insecurity within me. I don't think I like that feeling anymore. And as we remind ourselves, we're like, where am I? It's like, oh, I'm in that place again. I'm in that thought process again. I'm in the future again. I'm in the past again. And we can bring ourselves back to this present moment and realize that, right now I'm okay. Because most times when we are thinking about these different things, we're not really immediately in the situation. Because when we are immediately in some kind of situation, we act, we respond, we move through it. And it's not until afterwards that we start thinking, it's like, oh man, I can't believe that actually happened. And we start worrying about, oh, is that going to happen again? Even people in traumatic situations, like a car accident or some kind of seriously traumatic situation, you act first. And that's why it's called post-traumatic stress, because the stress starts coming afterwards. It starts coming after, during that processing. It's like, okay, this happened. Now I have to process it. Because in the moment, we get through it. In the moment, we always get through it. But then there's that phase of processing it. So when we find ourselves overwhelmed, when we find ourselves feeling down, when we find ourselves feeling stressed out, when we find ourselves feeling like this weight that we're carrying, ask yourself, where am I? Where am I right now? Because even in that thought, it breaks that thought process. It breaks that pattern that we're moving in, and it says, wait a minute, hold on, where am I right now? I'm sitting on the couch with my partner who loves me, and like this is what I'm experiencing right now. Like, let me enjoy this moment. I'm at the grocery store, and I'm very thankful for the abundance that I have to even get anything here, to even find my way to get to this grocery store, to be in this experience of being able to move in the way that I do. It's like, I want to enjoy this. I'm sitting here watching the sunset, and I'm worried about, tomorrow is going to be the first of the month and I have to pay these bills. It's like, like, how am I going to do that? Like, I'm missing this very present sunset. Where am I? And this is something I ask myself every single day, every single moment that I find myself even thinking about something that's pleasant, like a pleasant thing that's going to happen down the line, like the vacation I'm about to go on. When I find myself thinking about that, even of all the good stuff, I realize that I'm losing time right now in the present moment to experience happiness right now in the present moment. And all of that great stuff can happen, or it cannot. But right now is the life I'm experiencing. Right now is the life I'm experiencing. So I'm going to bring myself back to right now. I'm going to be right now in this moment. And as I allow myself in this moment, those feelings that I was just feeling, they may still be present. They may still be here. They may still linger. But I can embrace it with the love that I want to experience right now, with the peace that I want to experience right now, and the joy that I wish to embody right now. And it is possible. Anything is possible. So allow yourself to merge those two things. Ask yourself, where am I right now? Oh, I was thinking about that past situation and how so many things could have been different. I was really thinking about that, and it's been something that I've been thinking about a lot. And, it feels like a weight. It feels so heavy. I want to be present right now. Just for the briefest moment, I want to breathe and just be present right now, because I've been somewhere else. And in that thought of being somewhere else, it was so much. So I'm going to be present. I'm going to breathe. And that feeling may still reside there, but as I breathe and as I allow myself the peace of this moment right now, it will start to subside. It will just naturally start to subside because you're allowing it. You're not pushing it away, because the more we try to force it away, the more attention we're actually giving it. So by allowing it and allowing yourself to validate what you want in this right now moment, I want peace right now. Okay, so I'm going to allow this thought to be exactly as it is. I'm going to allow that situation to be exactly as it is. I'm going to allow the future to be exactly where it is, and that is not right now. And I'm going to bring myself back to where I am right this moment. And I'm at peace. And we can bring ourselves at peace in every single moment, but it's always by reminding ourselves where we are, because we can't find peace in a time that is not now. Okay, you can't find peace in the past. You can't find peace in the future, because what are any of those anyway? They don't exist. Right now exists. So bring your peace with you now. Bring your love with you now. Your joy, bring it with you now. Be it now. And allow all those other things to be there as well. But just know what you prioritize. Know what you choose right now in this moment. And let this present moment be your experience. So yeah, that's all I really have for this episode. If you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that you'd like to share, you can send those to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the social media groups: Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, and the Facebook group, @everysunpodcast as well. And you can also join the YouTube page, Everything Under the Sun Podcast, and you should find me. And that's all I got. I love you so much, and I will talk to you later.